Rakho Ranga Charane Rakasha Rakho Ranga Charane Rakasha Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki. So now we'll hear the translation for the verses from Aradhya, Haripriya, Yaira and Vaidehi.
Translation. The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are a shelter where one will get the soothing moonlight not only for one, but of millions of moons. If the world want to have real peace, it should take shelter of Lord Nityananda. Unless one takes shelter under the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, it will be very difficult for him to approach Radha Krishna. If one actually wants to enter into the dancing party of Radha Krishna, he must firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda.
Anyone who has not established his relationship with Nityananda Prabhu is understood to have spoilt his valuable human birth. Such a human being is actually an uncontrollable animal, because he has never uttered the holy name of Nityananda. He has become merged into so-called material happiness. What can his useless education and family traditions do to help him?
Being mad after false prestige and identification with the body, one is thinking, oh, what is Nityananda? What can he do for me? I don't care. The result is that he is accepting someone false to be truth. If you actually want to approach the association of Radha Krishna, you must first achieve the mercy of Lord Nityananda. When he is merciful towards you, then you will be able to approach Radha Krishna. Therefore, you should firmly grasp the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda.
The lotus feet of Nityananda are not illusion, they are a fact. One who engages in the transcendental loving service of Nityananda is also transcendental. Always try to catch the lotus feet of Nityananda. This Narottam Das is very unhappy. Therefore, I am praying to Lord Nityananda to make me happy. My dear Lord, please keep me close to your lotus feet.
I'm not sure. I think Prabhupada must be from this. There's a village in Mayapur called Uchai Gram. You know what Uchai means? High, loud. He likes to sing. In Uchai Gram, the devotees do loud kirtan. Like kirtan that can penetrate the universe. Uchai. So, thank you, Prabhupada, for helping us to penetrate the darkness of our ignorance. We've just finished reading the second canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And in the second canto, there's, towards the end of the second canto, there is some very interesting chapters, Parikshit Maharaj's questions, and the different avatars were earlier in the second canto, and there was a few statements or a few lines in English we call collocations, string of words that come together in Sanskrit or in English, any language. And one of them is guna sangha pankam, means that this is in the chapter in the second canto where the avatars are being introduced, different avatars. And one of the avatars that's being discussed is the avatar of Kapila Muni, Kapila Dev. And Kapila's mother is cleansed of the guna sangha pankam. You know what pankam is? It's the mud. She's cleansed of the mud of material modes of nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. And she's cleansed by the loud kirtan, Uchai Gram kirtan. Not just Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, but loud kirtan, right? The Prabhupada's specialty kirtan. That is very... that's how she cleansed that mud from the guna sangha, association of the modes, of the gunas. And then there's a chapter of Parikshit Maharaj, he's asking questions, and many questions. I didn't count the questions, but maybe after class you can count how many questions there. I think it's chapter 9, second canto, maybe chapter 8. He asks maybe 30 questions. Who is Parikshit Maharaj asking questions to? Shukadeva Swami. He's asking to Shukadeva Swami. And this will set the... Sukadeva Goswami is remembering all these questions, like 30 questions at least. What is the creation? How does the creation work? How is it maintained? What is the destruction? How are the modes of material nature working? He asks many, many questions, one after another, bang, 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 bang. And Sukadeva Goswami remembers them, and he'll respond one point after the other point for the rest of the Bhagavatam. So it takes him another 10 cantos to answer his 30 questions in the chapter. And there it said that in one of those questions that Parikshit Maharaj, he puts forward, he says that this, hearing the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, it's the pravishta kanarandrena. And Prabhupada translates this kanarandrena means through the ears, but into the heart. He says this Bhagavatam svanam bhava saroruham. When you hear the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam or the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they sit on the lotus flower of the loving relationship with the Lord. And the pastimes there that we're hearing that are sitting on the lotus flower, Sudoruham, they cleanse the heart of all of the muck. Dunoti. Dunoti means to clean, right? We heard that, we have many times we heard in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Dunoti Shamalam Krishna. Oh, Krishna is doing this cleansing just like the autumnal rains, Salilasigata Sharat. Like the autumnal rains, they cleanse the mud of the pools. They come and they cleanse all the rivers and the pools, and here in Australia we have the billabongs, and all the autumnal rains will come and clean all that, the mud that's been sitting there over the seasons. So they're very purifying. From this, when we let the Lord enter into the heart. And in the previous verse he says that it will happen very quickly. Kalena nati dirgena. Doesn't take a very long time for Bhagavan Vishateridi, for Krishna to enter into the heart. When the devotee has Shraddha, Shraddhavan Yome, in this verse with this Nadiya Godrumeni Nanda Mahajan. With Shraddhavan, we ask, the price is Shraddhavan. The price for the holy name in the marketplace of the holy name is Shraddha, faith. We need faith in the holy name. And he says there in that verse previous to that, Paravishta Kanarandrina, that one who has this faith, Shrinvatam Shraddhaya Nityam, who is very seriously and faithfully hearing Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, then quickly Bhagavan will enter into the heart. Kalena nati dirgena. Bhagavan Vishateridi. So Lord Nityananda, he will help us to become free from this guna sangha, pankam, the mud of association that we're all look. Everybody here looks spotless today because we're all ecstatic and we've had kirtan and woken up early and performed our bhakti early in the morning, and so millions of moons are in this room. But after some time we leave the temple room and we go back home and we start to get muddy again. The mud again comes. It just happens. We get dirty. So we have to do nityam bhagavata sevaya to clear the mud. Every day we have to clean. Otherwise we get muddy. We get confused. We get bewildered by this mud. And one other last collocation or string of words that we picked up from the end of the second canto was this Karna Kashaya Soshan. It's a very beautiful translation Prabhupada has of the word Karna Kashaya Soshan. Means that by hearing of the glories and the pastimes of the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Shoshan Prabhupada translates as evaporates. It evaporates the mud, the foul matter in the ear, in the heart. Evaporate. What does evaporate mean?
Evaporate means to go away through the air.
It goes away by the?
Go away
through the ear. He's got a transcendental translation of evaporate. Right? It goes up into the ether. Right? The foul matter is evaporated from the ear. Imagine that in the ear we hear so much, during the daytime we hear so much nonsense, so much material vibration, and it sits there. And we need to evaporate that, we need to cleanse it, we need to remove that from the ear. So we do that on these special days. It's very easy to do. And these special days should give us the potency. Balaram is the power, isn't it? Balaram? What does Bala mean? Strong, strength. Stand up, Balaram. Stand up. Stand up. See, Balaram is strong. Show your muscles. Go like this. Balaram, strong. Bala. Okay, sit down. He's very strong, right? Balaram. He's got spiritual strength, not this strength. He's not working out for that strength. Hare Prabhupada. Prabhupada's got cooking strength and kirtan strength. So this Balaram, Hoy Lord Nitai, Lord Nityananda is Balaram. He's the same. And we're going to hear in the Chaitanya Charitamrita how they're the same, and who is Lord Balaram, who is Lord Nityananda, and how to meditate on this Balaram for spiritual strength, not for the physical strength, but spiritual strength. We need physical strength also, but the spiritual strength to deal with the accumulation of the mud in the heart, the dirt in the heart. So let's learn this verse on the board. It's quite a very easy verse in Anustup, and all of the words will be mostly familiar words, not unusual words. So before we leave today, boys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, we need to learn this verse. That's your key to leave the temple room. You have to come and tell me the verse, and then you can leave. If you don't learn the verse, no prasadam. Okay? There's some nervous faces I can see. Oh no, I can't learn a verse. We can learn, it's easy. This is really easy. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Okay, first word is Vande. 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 We heard Vande every day. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande. 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 Ananta. Ananta. What does Ananta mean? Unlimited. All right. Well, let's ask the kids for these translations. So first, one boy, one girl. One girl just had her hand up. Radhya had her hand up. So you're finished with the girls. Boys next. Adbhuta. Adbhuta means? Amazing. Huh? Hayagriva is amazing. So when you think of Adbhuta, think Hayagriva is amazing. This is a trick, a memory trick. Adbhuta. Ananta, unlimited. You can think Aradhya is unlimited. Aradhya, unlimited. Adbhuta, Hayagriva is amazing. Okay. Aishvaryam. What does Aishvaryam mean? Girls. Opulence. Okay. Hari Priya is Aishvaryam. Opulence. Aishvaryam. Vande Nantar Bhutaishvaryam. Vande Nanta Bhutaishvaryam. Good. Sri. Sri means? Wealthy, yeah. Good, all right. Sri means wealthy, Krishna is wealthy. He's Madhava, he's the Lord of Sri. All fortune. Very good. Nityanandam. Nityananda means Lord Nityananda. Right? What does Nityananda mean, actually? Right? Yeah. Sorry? Eternal bliss. He's always blissful, isn't it? Nityananda. Okay. The devotees in the old days when they were doing Sankirtan in the countryside, like in Seymour and all these places in Victoria, they were getting in the evening time ready to look for a place to settle down, a caravan park or something. And they'll ask the local people, because they want to do kirtan, they ask the local people, do you know where this, have you seen where Nityananda Road is? And these guys say, what? And say, Nityananda Road. You know Nityananda Road? And say, never heard of it, mate. And say, oh, it's just near Gauranga Avenue. And they say, what? Nityananda? Gauranga? We don't know what you're talking about. So getting everybody to chant. Nityananda, Gauranga. The whole Panchatattva they did. It's near Shiva's place. Who? Shiva's place. You don't know Shiva's place? Everyone knows Shiva's place. It's close by, actually. Where do we get up to? Nityananda. Ishvaram. Ishvaram means Lord. Ishvaram means Lord. Ekale Ishvara Krishna, Ara Savabritya. One Krishna, all servants, isn't it? Shri Nityanandam Ishvaram. Shri Nityanandam Ishvaram. Okay, we've already got 2 lines, so just be peaceful, be shanti. Huh? Vande Nantadbhutaishvaryam. Sri Nityanandam Ishvaram. If you don't say it, you won't remember it. Sri Nityanandam Ishvaram. Good. Now we have a sandhi, so it's easy though. Yasya. Yasya. That's a pronoun. It's whose. Whose. Yasya. Ichchaya. You might know that. Ichchaya. Who knows Ichchaya? Ichchati. Ichchami. Shrotami ichchami. Desire. Good. Very good. And what does Shrotami ichchami mean? Desire to hear. Very good. Parikshit Maharaj, he wants to hear. Shrotami ichchami. Hey Prabhu. Hey Shukadeva Goswami. Shrotami ichchami. Hey Prabhu. Very good. Tat. Tat Svarupam. What does Svarupam mean? Hari? His form, okay? Here it means, Rupa means form, Svarupa means his identity, which is his form. He's non-different to his form. And the next one is, okay, that word, that line, Yasyechchaya tat Svarupam. Yasyechchaya tat Svarupam. Agyena. Okay, Agyena. Girls. Agyanati Mirandasya. He doesn't have knowledge. He's ignorant. The one who doesn't have knowledge is ignorant. Agyena. Api. Api means? Also. Very good. And api can mean even, it can mean also, it can mean many things. It can be a question, api. Apichat, sutaracharo, even, if there's... and the last word is the verb, nirupyate. Nirupyate. Can be ascertained. What does ascertain mean? That's a good one. Ascertain. You got it? Yeah? Can know. Good. Very good. Can be known. Can be ascertained. Understood. Very good. There's a new word for everybody, for the children at least. Ascertained. Can be ascertained. Okay. Agyenapi nirupyate. Agyenapi nirupyate. All right. Another time through. Vande nantadbhutaishvaryam. Sri Nityanandamishwaram. Yasyachaya tatsvarupam. Agyenapi nirupyate. Agyenapi nirupyate. Okay, Prabhu's couple. Nande nanta dutaishvaryam. Agyenapi nirupyate. Nande nanta dutaishvaryam. Shri Nityanandamishwaram. Do it together. Do it together. Agyenapi nirupyate. Vande nanta bhutaishvaryam. Sri Nityanandamishwaram. Yasyachaya tatsvarupam. Agyenapi nirupyate. All the boys together. Vande nanto bhutaishvaryam. Shri Nityanandamishwaram. Yasyachaya tatsvarupam. Agyenapi nirupyate. Girls. Vande nanta bhutaishvaryam. Shri Nityanandamishwaram. Yasyachaya tatsvarupam. Agyenapi nirupyate. Vande nanta bhutaishvaryam. Sri Nityanandamishwaram. Yasyachaya tatsvarupam. Agyenapi nirupyate. All the girls together. Vande nanta bhutaishvaryam. Shri Nityanandamishwaram. Yasyachaya tatsvarupam. Agyenapi nirupyate. All the men together. Venanta bhutaishvaryam. Shri Nityanandamishwaram. Yasyachaya tatsvarupam. Agyenapi nirupyate. All the ladies together. Vande nanta bhutaishvaryam. Sri Nityanandamishwaram. Yasyachaya tatsvarupam. Agyenapi nirupyate. Everyone together. Vande nanta bhutaishvaryam. Sri Nityanandamishwaram. Yasyachaya tatsvarupam. Agyenapi nirupyate. Prabhu, can you turn the board around? Turn it around. Put the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna mantra. Okay. All together, Vande. Vande Nanta Bhutaishvaryam Sri Nityanandam Ishvaram Yasyachaya Tatsvarupam Agyenapi Nirupyate. One more time. Vande Nanta Bhutaishvaryam Sri Nityanandam Ishvaram Yasyachaya Tatsvarupam Agyenapi Nirupyate. Very good. See, now you know a verse. By Nityananda's mercy, or the Hare Krishna Mahamantra mercy. Okay. Prabhupada's translation, and we're going to read some verses from the introduction to the glories of Nityananda Ram in the fifth chapter of the Adi Leela. This is the translation to our verse. Let me offer my obeisances to Lord Sri Nityananda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose opulence is wonderful, Adbhuta, Aishvarya Rabhuta, and unlimited, Ananta. By his will, even a fool can understand his identity. Agyenapi nirupyate. Even an ignorant person can understand Lord Nityananda by his mercy, by the Lord's mercy. And that's the lesson for today. That's the theme of Nityananda Trayodasi, that we want to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda so that we can understand who is Lord Nityananda, and then we can enter into Radha Krishna Lila. We can become purely Krishna conscious, free from the mud of material existence by the mercy of Nityananda. If we know Nityananda, we get Radha Krishna. If you have Radha Krishna, you're fully Krishna conscious. That's the Bhava Saroruham that sits on the lotus flower of the relationship with Radha Krishna. Text number 2. Everybody knows this text. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So already we know 2 verses from CC. Just like that. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 3, I have described the glory of Sri Krishna Chaitanya in 6 verses. Now in 5 verses I shall describe the glory of Lord Nityananda. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is the fountainhead of all incarnations. Lord Balaram is his second body. Purport. Lord Shri Krishna, the Absolute Personality of Godhead, is the primeval Lord, the original form of Godhead, and his first expansion is Shri Balaram. The Personality of Godhead can expand himself in innumerable forms. The forms that have unlimited potency are called Svamsa. What are the forms that have unlimited potency? Svamsa. Svamsa. And the forms that have limited potency, the jivas, living entities, are called Vibhinamsa. Vibhinamsa. These two are one and the same identity. That's Lord Krishna and not Svamsa and Vibhinamsa. That's Lord Krishna and Balaram. They're the same. Gaura-Nitai, they're the same personality. Balaram is Svamsa expansion of the Lord. They differ only in form. Balaram and Krishna differ only in form. Lord Balaram is the first bodily expansion of Krishna, and he assists in Lord Krishna's transcendental pastimes. Prabhupada says, Balaram is a Svamsa expansion of the Lord, and therefore there is no difference in potency between Krishna and Balaram. The only difference is in their bodily structure. Balaram's a bit stronger, I think. He's white. He's white color and Krishna's bluish color. But otherwise, and Lord Nityananda, he is giving seva. He's Sevaka Bhagavan. He's giving service to Krishna. And Krishna is accepting. Sevya Bhagavan. Where's Sevya Bhagavan? Cooking. Cooking? He's giving service. Sevya Bhagavan and Sevaka Bhagavan. So Balaram is the chief deity among the first quadruple forms, and he's the foremost assistant of Sri Krishna in his transcendental activities. That original Lord Krishna appeared in Navadvip as Lord Chaitanya, and Balaram appeared as... Who did Balaram appear as in Navadvip? Nityananda, Lord Nityananda. May Sri Nityananda Ram be the object of my constant remembrance. Sankarshan, Sheshanaga, and the Vishnus who lie on the Karana ocean, Gaba ocean, and ocean of milk are his plenary portions and portions of his plenary portions. Can that phone go into flight mode? Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami has recorded this verse in his diary to offer his respectful obeisances to Nityananda Prabhu. This verse also appears as the 7th of the first 14 verses of the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Lord Balaram is the original Sankarshan. He assumes 5 other forms to serve Lord Krishna. Boys, listen to these 5 forms. Listen to the 5 forms. Don't worry about him. Okay, here's the 5 forms. Whose phone's that? Mahatma Ji, Haribol. Can you turn it down a little? No Facebook in Bhagavatam class. Lord Balaram is the original Sankarshan. He assumes 5 forms. He himself helps in the pastimes of Lord Krishna, and he does the work of creation in 4 other forms. He executes the orders of Lord Krishna in the work of creation, and in the form of Lord Shesha, he serves Krishna in various ways. So here's the 5 forms, and we'll finish with this, and we'll read a pastime, a very instructive pastime. The first form that he takes, Lord Balaram, and that's Lord Nityananda, he takes as the Mahasankarshan. From him everything else comes, Mahasankarshan. Then we have the 3 Purusha avatars who come. So Mahasankarshan, first form, and then 3 Purusha avatars. You know the Purusha avatars? Not that's a quadruple expansions, but the Purusha avatar, the first one is Mahavishnu, Karanadakashay Vishnu. The second one, Gabadakashay Vishnu, Shirodakashay Vishnu. There's 3. So now that's 4 forms. And the 5th one is Shesha. Shesha. And from Shesha offers all these services to Krishna, we know. His Brahman thread, his chair, his seat, his everything he offers. He expands himself in everything. The mridanga, we call the mridanga is called Balaram. You know, the first mridangas in ISKCON were called Balaram mridangas, isn't it? They had Balaram stickers on them. And the devotees who do the big kirtans, they offer a mantra to the mridanga before they start. Namo to Balaram. You know that mantra? You know it? Forgot it. You know? It's all right. So they're the 5 forms. And these 5 forms that Lord Balaram manifests is Lord Nityananda. So Lord Nityananda and Balaram are the same. Rajendra Nandana ye Sachi Shutta Hoilo se. Balarama Hoilo Nitaya. The same Vrajendra Nandana is Gauranga, Mahaprabhu. And Balaram is Nitai. Balarama Hoilo Nitai. Okay, getting a bit restless. Time to learn another verse. This one is a really easy take-home verse. You can't miss this verse. It's Advaita Acharya actually, but it's the same principle as today. Service. We want seva. That's our prayer today, to get service to Lord Nityananda so that we can please Lord Nityananda and he will introduce us to higher authorities. That's the link, isn't it? That's how we get there. I was talking the other day with Bhagavat Katha Prabhu, Gopika's dad. I was talking with him, and he said that the only thing you need in business, these are very successful businessmen, Krishna Katha and Bhagavat Katha Prabhu, and very good devotees. The only thing you need in business is to know the right person to ask to get to the top. Yeah, right? He said he had this realization of the parampara through his business exchanges. That if he knows the right person, that person can take him or recommend them to the CEO. He doesn't have to know the CEO. He only has to know the person who knows the CEO. So we only have to know Lord Nityananda, and then we'll get to the top realm. Only Nityananda. We have to know that the spiritual master is the manifestation of Lord Nityananda to get to the top realm. So let's do this one. Chaitanyera. Who is Chaitanya? Oh, Chaitanya. Chaitanyera. Dasa. Muni. Chaitanyera Dasa Muni. Chaitanyera Das. Chaitanyera Dasa Muni. Tandra Dasera Das. Tandra Dasera Das. It's Advaita Acharya. He's saying, I am a servant of Lord Chaitanya. I'm a servant of Lord Chaitanya. That's what he's saying. Chaitanya Dasa Muni, Chaitanya Das. I'm a servant of Lord Chaitanya. Nothing else. Don't call me Mahavishnu. Don't call me Vishnu Tattva. I'm Dasanu Das. Tandre Daserana Das. Chaitanya Dasa Muni, Chaitanya Das. You can recite that during the day. Chaitanya Dasa Muni, Chaitanya Das. Chaitanya Dasa Muni, Tandra Dasera Das. Very good. You weren't expecting to learn so many verses today. I wasn't expecting to also be teaching so many verses, but I could see that we need to be a little bit interactive because a bit fidgety. Now, if you can just hang in there for another 15 minutes, we'll wind it up. And then, do the kids have prasadam? No? Fasting? Fasting. That's why they're so... I think someone should give them some lollies or something. No. They're doing good. They're doing very well. Someone should give me some lollies, I think. Then I can focus. No. We're here to glorify Lord Nityananda Ram. And one of the famous pastimes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Nityananda, he's a very extraordinary person. He's known sometimes as Avaduta Shiromani. He's the crown, the crest jewel of all the Avadutas. He's beyond the rules and regs, Lord Nityananda. And that was him, as he was called an Avaduta sannyasi. But then you think about it, how could he be a sannyasi if he had married 2 wives? Right? Who are Lord Nityananda's wives? Jandavamata and Vasudha. Vasudha and Janava. He married their sisters. He married the sisters of Sridas Pandit. So how could he be a sannyasi? He's a sannyasi with 2 wives. Avaduta, no. He actually married them after. When he met Mahaprabhu and he was engaged in the Sankirtan, in Navadvip Dham and in many travels between Navadvip and Puri, he was in the mood of an Avadhuta sannyasi. And then one time Lord Chaitanya sent him back home to Bengal and said, you go back and get married. Yeah, and that was a real bolt in the, what, I'm going home to get married. He's a sannyasi, Avadhuta sannyasi. He said, if you go back and get married, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you will be able to increase your preaching efforts in Bengal. He was a very famous preacher in Bengal, Lord Nityananda. He said that Lord Nityananda went to a village. He went to many, many villages. We know Bhajo Krishna, Bolo Krishna, Koro Krishna Shika. He went to every village and every door, knocked on the door and just said, Bolo Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, worship Krishna and teach people about Krishna. Right? That was his mission, and that's our mission. If we want to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda, we have to go and knock on the door. Go out there and preach as much as we can. Haribol. Haribol. He doesn't pick up very quickly. You're on camera, So many people are watching you. Okay, now he's looking good. He looks nice for camera. So, that is Lord Nityananda. Lord Chaitanya sent him back to get married. And he went back and he got married. And first he married with Jannava Mata. And the marriage ceremony is very unusual, very exciting, like any Bengali marriage ceremony or any marriage ceremony in India, you can say. Very exotic and all sorts of wonderful things happening, loud music and funfair. And then one day it said that after he was just about to Sridas was just about to do the Kanyadan to give his daughter Janava to Nityananda. And Nityananda got up and walked out of the room. So, it's Kanyadan, you don't just walk out of the room. So the priest said, what's up? Come back, you got to get married. Sridas is giving you the wife. And he just walked into a room and stayed there for 3 days. And so all the guests that came, so many guests came for the wedding ceremony. They're wondering, what happened to the wedding? And after 3 days it came out, and he's sort of, what's wrong with you guys? It's, Kanyadan. So they had the Kanyadan. And then after that, he stayed in the house of Suridas for a couple of days. And they offer all sorts of feasts and prasadam and different things like that. And Vasudha was offering, she was serving, her brother-in-law, she was serving. And very excited, and everyone's serving all the preps. And her sari came from her head. And, what can she do? She's very chaste. She wants to keep her head covered. She's serving Lord Nityananda, her new brother-in-law. So she manifests 2 more arms. She's serving with 2 and she had 2 more. I'm sure the mothers would like to have 2 more arms sometimes. She had 2 more arms and put the sari back on and kept serving. And then Nityananda was very impressed, of course. This sister has 4 arms. She's very impressive. So he asked Suridas if he could marry her also. So he got 2 wives. Janava and Vasudha. So, here, we're going to read, and anyway, I was talking about Lord Nityananda and his potency. So he got this potency to transform people, to transform thieves, to transform Jaga and Madai, to give them love of Godhead. He gave love of Godhead to whomever he saw, got love of Godhead. Same as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whoever saw him. And it said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would appear in 4 places. You can get these 4 places. Note these 4 places, boys. 1, he will always appear where Lord Nityananda is dancing. He's a very special dancer, Lord Nityananda. 2, he will appear in the house of Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur is elder, and he was a start. That's where the Sankirtan movement starts. Srivas Sangam. He'll appear there, Shiva Sangam. So he'll appear where Lord Nityananda is dancing. He'll appear at Srivas Thakur's house. He'll appear whenever Sachi Mata is doing the offering. he appears there. Whenever she starts ringing the bell, Lord Chaitanya is there to take. Doesn't matter where he is, in India, South India, North India, East India, wherever he's traveling, he'll be there at the house of Mother Shachi, at his house, and accept the offering. And wherever he'll appear at Raghava Pandit's house. Raghava Pandit is also one extraordinary cook and extraordinary devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So those 4 places, when Lord Nityananda is dancing at the house of Srivas Pandit, at the house of Mother Sachi when she's cooking, and at the house of Raghava Pandit, he'll appear. One time in Saptagram, in a village in Navadvip, it's a village of merchants. Everybody there is just doing business, all day business. Imagine this village, just like Loy Bazaar village. Every shop is business, right? Business, Loy Bazaar. So Lord Nityananda went in every single house in Saptagram and performed kirtan, loud kirtan in every house, ecstatic kirtan. And everybody in the house and all the neighbors became devotees. And he went to the next house and the next house, and the whole village, he did kirtan in every single house. That's door to door, not just knocking on the door, Bolo Krishna, Bhaja Krishna, Koro Krishna Shika, but did full kirtan, Sankirtan in the house. And the whole village went back to Godhead. Saptagram. All right, so would you like Nityananda to do kirtan in your house? Yeah? He will. He does do kirtan in your house. So many devotees have Lord Nityananda in their house, and he is doing kirtan in their house. Okay, Raghunath Das. He's a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he wants to get to Lord Chaitanya, but he doesn't know what to do, and he came up with a plan. If I get the mercy of Nityananda, I can get to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If I don't have to get to the, Bhagavad Gita Prabhu, he doesn't have to get to the CEO, he just has to get to the person who knows the CEO. So he understands that if he just gets to Nityananda, he'll get Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then Raghunath Das considered something in his mind, and the next day he went to Nityananda Goswami in the village of Panihati. I chose this pastime because we have Panihati Festival here in Melbourne, Mahaprabhu Mandir. Panihati. What is the Panihati Festival? Huh? It's in December. Here it's December. It's not in December actually, but here we have it in December because it fits in with our calendar and it makes everything very happy and joyful and festive for Snanayatra. Panihati. What do you do on Panihati? Snanayatra. It's got nothing to do with Snanayatra, but we do it in Snanayatra. What do we do in Panihati? Panihati Festival. Give prasadam. We offer prasadam. Pots. We paint pots. It's the painting pot festival. No, it's not. It's a festival of Chiridoya festival, of chipped rice, soaked in yogurt and sugar and all things that are not so healthy for us, but transcendental. So he went to the village of Panihati. Raghunath Das obtained an interview with Nityananda Prabhu, who was accompanied by many kirtan performers, servants, and others. Sitting on a rock under a tree on the bank of the Ganges, Lord Nityananda seemed as effulgent as hundreds of thousands of rising suns. One time I was in India, I was living in Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, and to earn some money, we had a small kind of educational business there, and to earn money, because the business doesn't make any money, so to earn some money to live, to survive, we did some teaching in a college, in these universities where the students will be in fourth year engineering students, and they'll go out to the corporate world. So they had a program called, it was an Australian company, called From Campus to Corporate, and we're teaching them about ethics and different things like that. It was quite interesting, entertaining to teach them, to say the least. So we were doing this in Calcutta, 10-day program, and big numbers. You can imagine how many students over 10 days. 2 days in one campus, 2 days next campus, etc. So one campus was in Panihati, one of the campuses we were doing. And we go to work, it's in boiling hot Kolkata, like 40 degrees. And we have full suit, tie, shoes, everything like that. So we go in there, and this campus, no AC. In this room, there's like no windows, no AC. You can imagine this room. So just sweating it out in the hot box. And then I said to the organizers in the staff room, I said, "This is Panihati, do you know Raghunath Das Goswami?" Huh? Who's Raghunath Das Goswami? Do you know Lord Chaitanya? So they said, "Look, this is near the Ganga." He said, "We can take you there at lunchtime." I said, "All right, that'll be nice. We have a break, 2-hour break." So we went to Panihati to the tree. I don't know if it was a tree. The tree where Lord Nityananda was sitting underneath, on the bank of the Ganga. And I was there in my suit, tie and everything, and I took my shoes off and offered obeisances, and all the people, look at this white guy with suit tie is doing full dandavats to this tree. He's our teacher. What's going on? They couldn't work it out. Then after that, they did work it out. And I stayed in touch with one student from that group still today. That was maybe 10 years ago. He still writes to me. He got beads, actually. He started to go to the temple in Kolkata. So that was amazing. I didn't realize. I was just going to Panihati, thinking, Panihati, we have to do another 2-day program here. Panihati, what's Panihati? And then all of a sudden it dawned on me, Panihati. This is Panihati. It's from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So doesn't worry about the AC. Get into it. Many devotees sat on the ground surrounding him, seeing the influence of Nityananda Prabhu. Raghunath Das was astonished. Raghunath Das offered his obeisances by falling prostrate at a distant place, and the servant of Nityananda Prabhu pointed out, "There is Raghunath Das offering you obeisances." Hearing this, Lord Nityananda Prabhu said, "You are a thief. Now you come and see me. Come here, come here. Today I shall punish you." The Lord called him, but Raghunath Das did not go near the Lord. Then the Lord forcibly caught him and placed his lotus feet upon Raghunath's head. Lord Nityananda was by nature very merciful and funny. Being merciful, he spoke to Raghunath Das as follows: "You are just like a thief. For instead of coming near, you stay away at a distant place. Now that I have captured you, I shall punish you. Make a festival and feed all my associates with yogurt and chipped rice." This is Panihati Festival. Make a festival. Hearing this, Raghunath Das was greatly pleased. This is the Vaishnava culture, isn't it? Festival. Prasadam, kirtan, prasadam, kirtan, prasadam, kirtan. Raghunath Das immediately sent his own men to the village to purchase all kinds of edibles and bring them back. Raghunath Das brought chipped rice, yogurt, milk, sweetmeats, sugar, bananas, and other edibles and placed them all around. As soon as they heard that a festival was going to be held, all kinds of brahmanas turned up. Sound familiar? As soon as they heard a festival, what time's prasadam? Turned up. And other gentlemen began to arrive. Thus there were innumerable people. What does innumerable mean? A lot. Good. But more than a lot. It's got a big heaps, right? Too much. Unlimited. Indian crowd. Unlimited. Seeing the crowd increasing, Raghunath Das arranged to get more edibles from other villages. He also brought 200 or 400 large earthen pots. He also obtained 5 or 7 especially large earthen pots. These mahapots, not like our little pots here, big pots. The Brahmana began to soak chipped rice for the satisfaction of Lord Nityananda. In one place, chipped rice was soaked in hot milk. In another, in each of the large pots. Then half the rice was mixed with yogurt, sugar, and bananas. The other half was mixed with condensed milk and a special type of banana known as champakala. Then sugar, clarified butter, and camphor were added. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is a master chef, actually. He knows so much about the culinary details. If you read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you can become really an expert cook. After Nityananda Prabhu had changed his cloth for a new one and sat on a raised platform, the Brahmana brought before him the 7 huge pots. On that platform, all the most important associates of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, as well as other important men, sat down on a circle around the Lord. Among them were Ramdas, Sundarananda, Gadadhardas, Murari, Kamalakara, Sadashiva, and Purandara. Dhananjay, Jagadish, Parameshwaradas, Mahesh, Gauridas, and Hoda Krishnadas were also there. These are the associates of Nityananda Prabhu. They're cowherd boys. If you read in the beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you'll hear that the Nityananda branch of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a very heavy branch. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says it's the heaviest branch, the Nityananda branch. And it's got there are 70 associates that are mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the Adi Lila. 70 associates. And all of them do one thing, preach Harinam Sankirtan, Prem Sankirtan. All of them, all of his associates. And they're cowherd boys. And Prabhupada gives a reference, he gives a reference to all of the ones that had been mentioned. He gives a cross-reference to the early section, which I won't read. Hearing about the festival, all kinds of learned scholars, brahmanas and priests went there. Lord Nityananda Prabhu honoured them and made them sit on a raised platform with him. Everyone was offered 2 earthen pots. In one was put chipped rice with condensed milk, and in the other chipped rice with yogurt. All the other people sat in groups around the platform. No one could count how many people were there. Each and every one of them was supplied 2 earthen pots. One of chipped rice soaked in yogurt and the other of chipped rice soaked in condensed milk. Some of the brahmanas, not having gotten a place on the platform, where did they go? They couldn't get a place to sit on the bank of the Ganga. Where did they go? I couldn't get a place on the platform. They went to the bank of the Ganges, and with their 2 earthen pots, they soaked their chipped rice there. Others who could not get a place even on the bank of the Ganges got into the water. They sat in the water with their pots of yogurt. This is a big festival. They sat in the water with their pots. 2 kinds of chipped rice. Thus some sat on the platform, some on the base of the platform, some on the bank of the Ganges, and the others were in the Ganges themselves. At that time, Raghava Pandit arrived. He's another person. Lord Chaitanya is definitely going to come here. If Raghava Pandit's here and Lord Nityananda's here, Lord Chaitanya is going to come. This is a warning. At that time, Raghava Pandit arrived there. Seeing the situation, he began to laugh in great surprise. He brought many kinds of food cooked in ghee from his house for Lord Nityananda. He's an expert cook. And offered to the Lord. This prasadam he first placed before Lord Nityananda and then distributed among the devotees. Raghava Pandit said to Lord Nityananda, "For you, sir, I have already offered food to the deity, but you are engaged in a festival here, so the food is lying there untouched." So what is Lord Nityananda's solution? Raghava Pandit at home cooked a big feast. He comes out to the tree of Lord Nityananda where there's hundreds and thousands of devotees having a festival with Chiri Chiri Dadawai festival. He sees so many devotees with pots of chipped rice. So Lord Nityananda's dilemma is resolved in this way. He says, "Let me eat all the food here during the day, and I shall eat at your home at night." So it's win-win. Everybody's going to eat today, and at night time they're going to eat as well. And they can do that, and they did that. That was how they did Sankirtan. They eat so much, they have to do Kirtan. Energy comes from this prasadam, right? Special. I belong to a community of cowherd boys. Who is Nityananda? He's a cowherd boy. And therefore, I generally have many cowherd associates with me. I am happy when we eat together in a picnic like this by the sandy bank of the river. And you know the Ganga sometimes has big stretches of sand. But the boys and Lord Nityananda were thinking that this was Yamuna, of course. Lord Nityananda made Raghava Pandit sit down and had 2 pots delivered to him also. There were 2 kinds of chip rice soaked in them. When the chip rice had been served to everyone, Lord Nityananda Prabhu in meditation brought Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And here's the important lesson in this pastime, not just how to eat chipped rice. That's one part of the pastime. But this is the very important part of the lesson. So Nityananda, he is very special. By his meditation, he brought Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the festival. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived, Lord Nityananda Prabhu stood up. And Lord Chaitanya wasn't just down the road. He wasn't in Calcutta or somewhere. He was probably in Mayapur. Lord Nityananda Prabhu stood up. They then saw how the others were enjoying the chipped rice, yogurt and condensed milk. So Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stood up, and they're going to walk through the crowd now. From each and every pot, Nityananda Prabhu took one morsel of chipped rice and pushed it in the mouth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a joke. Put that in their mouth. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, also smiling, took a morsel of food, pushed it into the mouth of Lord Nityananda, and laughed as Lord Nityananda ate it. In this way, Lord Nityananda was walking through all groups of eaters. I was thinking that, when I was imagining this pastime, that he couldn't take this, he wouldn't be eating the food of just everybody there, like Juta. He was just maybe the special devotees on the platform, Murari and all the top guns. But he's going right through. It says all the eaters. He went through every single eater and took the morsel, hundreds of them. In this way, Nityananda was walking through all the groups of eaters. And all the Vaishnavas standing there were seeing the fun. No one could understand that Nityananda Prabhu was doing what Nityananda was doing as he walked about. Some, however, who were very fortunate, could see that Lord Chaitanya was also present. Then Nityananda Prabhu smiled and sat down. On his right side, he kept 4 pots of chipped rice that had not been made from boiled paddy. Nityananda offered Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu a place and had him sit down. Then together, the 2 brothers began eating chipped rice. Seeing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eating with him, Lord Nityananda became very happy and exhibited various ecstatic symptoms. So then it goes on to describe those symptoms and what happens and who can understand the potency of this. But the idea is that Raghunath Das, by pleasing the Vaishnavas and pleasing Lord Nityananda, had attracted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to this place. And therefore he had secured his place, if you like, secured his place in the bhakti group, the highest group of Krishna consciousness, and he was going to be placed under the care of Svarup Damodar. So we'll finish there and conclude with the meditation on our bhajan today, that by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, we get Radha Krishna. Radha Krishna is the highest perfection of bhakti. The highest perfection of our devotional pursuits is to enter into the pastime of Radha and Krishna. By Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we have been given Chaitanya Charitamrita. 1975, Prabhupada gave Chaitanya Charitamrita. 1975, he gave Gaunitai in Melbourne. Prabhupada installed Gaunitai here in the same year that Chaitanya Charitamrita appeared, so it was a big thrush of mercy. And he announced, sitting there on the Vyasasthana, that Lord Chaitanya has mercifully appeared in Melbourne to relieve us from our anxieties. so that we can become free from anxiety, to become free from the mud of material existence, the association of that mud. And that is by the mercy of Nityananda, Lord Nityananda Prabhu. He introduces us to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radha Krishna, Nahayanya. He's the same. So we get Lord Chaitanya's mercy through Nityananda. Lord Chaitanya is Radha Krishna, and this is how we can become completely free from the guna sangha, of pankam, of the mud, of the association of the modes of material nature. Shri Nityananda Ram ki, Shri Avibhav Mahotsav, Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki, Avibhav Mahotsav ki, Go Premanandi. Now, before you leave, you have to come and see me. Vande Nanta Bhutashvaryam Sri Nityananda Mishwaram Yasyachaya Tatsvarupam. These guys wrote it down. Smart. Agyenapi nirupyate. Agyenapi nirupyate. You don't have to come and see me. You all learnt it perfectly. Hare Mataji. Okay. Noontime is mysteriously 1:35. Thank you. It's because Nityananda's appearance is very mysterious today. Thank you, Rasa. Mataji. Noontime ki.